Dorothy's Rose Petal Jam. Dorothy the dinosaur was in her kitchen, looking through her recipe books. "There's nothing here," she said, putting the books away. "I'll have to go to the library." And she picked up her basket. As she opened her front door, she saw Captain Feathersword walking up the path. "Hello, Dorothy," he said. "Where are you going?" "I'm going to the library," smiled Dorothy. "I want to find a recipe for rose petal jam." "Rose petal jam?" repeated the captain, taking Dorothy's basket and walking along beside her. "I didn't know there was any such thing." Dorothy nodded. "See how many roses are blooming in my garden right now? I've collected some petals and I want to make rose petal jam for everyone." "Well, why do you need to go to the library?" asked the captain. "Well," Dorothy explained, "I don't have a recipe for rose petal jam in any of my recipe books." "But isn't a library a place for storybooks?" asked the captain in a puzzled tone as they waited to cross the road. "Of course it is," replied Dorothy, "but that's not all. You can find books about anything in a library, and that includes recipe books." They walked into the library and Dorothy asked the librarian where she could find the recipe books. "I need a recipe for rose petal jam," she explained. Dorothy and Captain Feathersword followed the librarian's instructions and soon found a book of recipes for all kinds of jam. Captain Feathersword looked in the index. "There's a recipe here for rose petal jelly," he said doubtfully. "Will that do?" "Yes, it will," replied Dorothy. "Jam is sometimes called jelly. What will I need to make the jam, as well as rose petals?" The captain read out the ingredients and Dorothy wrote them down. "Sugar, lemon juice and pectin." "What's pectin?" the captain asked. "I've never heard of that." "It helps the jam to set," Dorothy explained as she finished copying the instructions. "We'll need to go to the supermarket." "Can I help make the rose petal jam?" asked the captain when they arrived back at Dorothy's house. "Of course you can," Dorothy replied. The two cooks washed their hands and Dorothy gave the captain an apron. "Let's begin," she said. Together they followed the recipe. Captain Feathersword stirred the mixture in a big saucepan. When it was ready, they poured it into clean jars, sealed the tops and left it to cool. "I like cooking," laughed the captain. "Can we make something else?" "I thought we'd make some scones, and then when the Wiggles come to call, we can have rosy tea and scones with rose petal jam," Dorothy replied. "And cream?" suggested the captain eagerly. "Scones and jam and cream are delicious. You make the scones and I'll whip the cream." That afternoon, Dorothy walked over to Wiggle House to ask the Wiggles if they'd like to visit. "Captain Feathersword is there," she said, "and Wags has just arrived." When the Wiggles arrived, the table was set with rosy tea and plates of scones with jam and cream. "Wow!" exclaimed Anthony. "That looks delicious. What sort of jam is it?" "It's rose petal jam," explained the captain. "Dorothy and I made it with the rose petals from Dorothy's garden." Everyone enjoyed the food, and they all decided that rose petal jam was the best jam of all.